Hey folks, Stuart here from Quick Shopify Tutorials. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about blogs, blog posts, and how to set them up inside Shopify. Blogs are a great way to have content on your website that can be regularly updated. They're fantastic for SEO, and if you're using the blog well, you can really use it to solidify yourself in your industry as a leader, that you know what you're talking about, and you can do this by creating product reviews or talking about news, current events in your industry, um, or things that might be upcoming, this kind of stuff. So it's really great content to have on your website. So we're going to go through and we're going to actually set up our blog. Now to do this, I'm going to click on the online store in the sidebar and find the link called blog posts. All right, so we don't have anything set up just yet. So the first thing we're going to do is create that post. And much like all the other screens we've seen so far, there will be some things that are very familiar to you. So we have the title of the article, of the post, we have the content, we have this thing called an excerpt, and this is an optional thing. Basically what it is a secondary field that we can use to create a small snippet that is either the first paragraph or explains kind of what's going to happen in the article. If it's a long article, this is the condensed version of it. So this can be really helpful for if your blog is laid out in a way where you've got lots and lots of content, but the blog page, the news page that has all of the articles on it, you don't want to show all the content from every post. You want to kind of keep it a bit more condensed so people can move through it a bit easier and see what it is that they're looking for. So this is what the excerpt is. And that's a great way to use it. Again, we have the SEO stuff with the page title, the meta description, and the handle for the article. We have a couple of other things, so we can mark whether this article is published or not. We can set a specific publish date for it to go live. So you'll notice by default it's hidden. And I think this is kind of just a nice little quirk of it, where it allows you to be able to, write your article, kind of, you can save it, but it's not visible yet. So you can use it kind of like a draft, come back, tweak things, edit things. Maybe you don't have all the content yet and you're just sort of fleshing it out, or you run out of time or something, or you just actually have a very specific date that you want this article to go out on. So by default, they're going to be hidden when they're saved. You have the ability to upload an image that will go with this post, and this will, depending on your theme, be used either on the news page that lists all of the articles, or the blog page that lists all the articles, or within the post it might actually be a header or banner image, but that does not stop you from having other images in your content, and so you can add them through the normal method that you would inside the actual content. Moving down, you have the ability to set who is the author. Now this actually links to who has an account on your Shopify admin. So you'll notice I just have the one. This is because I'm the only person that has a login for this store. But if you had multiple logins, you had some staff that were maybe in charge of writing some articles, then they can set exactly who the author is. And again, sort of dependent on your theme, dependent on the theme settings that you choose, you can choose to have that displayed to the customer on the front end of the site if you want. Now, blog. Now this is kind of interesting, and I'll circle back to this, but basically what it means is that you can create multiple blogs and you can group posts together in a way that might be a bit more meaningful rather than just having everything under one blog category. All right. And so the one that we've got by default when we spin up a store is called news. So you might want to have a completely separate group of posts, a blog, and dedicate this just to reviews. So we could create a reviews blog and have them separate to, say, the upcoming news or whatever it is. And then lastly, you've got tags, and tags work the same as tags on products. You can just freeform type into this field whatever you want, comma separate it, and this is just a great way of kind of grouping like posts. It might be something that you find helpful. So I'm just going to go ahead and write something. Okay, so now I've got my article content in here. I have my title, and I've saved this. And you'll notice that at the bottom of the section, there's one last section that we didn't see before we saved it. And this is just a quirk of it not having been set up, and this being the first post. So now we can see that there's this comment section. So blogs have the ability to have comments on them, but you can disable this if you want to, if you feel it's appropriate to have them or not. And we'll go through in a minute how we actually sort of manage that. This is set for every article inside the particular blog. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump back to our blog posts. And we can see that we've got the list of all the posts that we've written. And up in the top left corner here, there's a link called Manage Blogs. So if I click on this, so this is where I mentioned earlier about, say we want to have different blogs for different content, we can have different links to these different blogs. The one that we get by default is news. We could change the name if we wanted to. If we had a RSS feed that we wanted to use to push this content out to people who have subscribed to the blog, then we can do that. We can set that up. More information on that is available through the What is FeedBurner link. Again, you can edit the SEO stuff for this. Now this is for the page that contains all the articles in it, all the posts in it, rather than the posts themselves. And then lastly, you have the ability to manage how the comments are handled for the articles, for the posts that are within this blog. So we can have them disabled. No, they're not going to show. They're not even going to give anyone the option to be able to post a comment. We can have it so that people can post a comment, but you as the merchant, you get to select whether these are going to be published or not. And then you have the option to just have them automatically published as soon as someone writes a comment. So that's up to you as to how you feel you want to handle those, if you want them at all. Now I'm going to head back to the main blog section, the main blog post section. And if you do have comments turned on, under the Manage Comments link, you'll see them here. And then this will allow you to be able to, moderate them, to remove them, to whatever you need to do for those. And So then basically the last thing to do is to publish this article. So I'm going to come in here, it's hidden by default, so I'm going to mark it as visible and then hit save. And then once this is done, we're going to navigate to the article. We can see how this article looks on our store, which it looks pretty great. So at the bottom of the page here, we have this link that will take us back to the overall blog, our news blog. This will show all of the posts that are inside this blog that you can then click through to read the whole thing. So when I mentioned the excerpt before, this is what I was talking about. This is what you will see. It will show the excerpt there if there is one. If there's no excerpt set, which I haven't done, it will actually just truncate the first paragraph of the article for you. So that's it for today. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, leave them below in the comments. If you want to see more of these, then remember to hit the like button or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.